Welcome to the Boogie Down Bombers podcast. A podcast talking all things Yankees and baseball. Now, here's your hosts, Austin, Tim, and Nick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boogie Down Bombers podcast. I'm Austin Verhill, and along with Tim LaDuca and Nick Giovanelli. Today we got a ton of stuff to talk about, but we're going to start with Carlos Beltran. And we're actually going to come back to Carlos Beltran a little bit later. But we're going to start with he was on center stage in an episode that I don't believe has even aired yet. But it was the first time since 2017 that he talked about the Astros cheating scandal. And a lot of things were brought up, which I think were kind of thought by everyone. But there were some interesting points that he made. First off, he said when Rob Manfred warned the Astros in I think it was early 2017, maybe mid 2017. He warned the front office, and then the players and manager were not told about it, which
nice.
is an interesting thing to think about. So he also said the players never truly felt like they were doing anything that wrong. He said in hindsight they shouldn't have been doing it, but that he thought they were just kind of gaining an edge as opposed to full-on cheating, which I think is another interesting to think about, because he did say if they were ever told to stop, they would have stopped. So I think that's probably why Luhnow is done with. I don't think he gets another MLB job again. Obviously, we saw Cora. He got fired and then rehired by the Red Sox a year later. He effectively just served his suspension.
And
he did.
did.
Hinch got fired and then got hired by Detroit,
Who is a sleeper team now.
Yeah, I was
my
just about
opinion.
to say that they're building a team there. But Beltran also said that for some reason he was the only player named. And he said for some reason he's the only person who's really, other than Luhnow, been punished. I have to agree with him on that. I think we've said that from the beginning. Why is Carlos Beltran falling on the sword like this?
Yeah.
So do you guys have any thoughts about that?
Isn't it because he wasn't a player anymore because he had retired right after the season?
Yeah, so I guess because players were exempt. So, but I guess they mean players as in when they were being interviewed, not when it was happening. Which is strange to me. It's a little odd.
Yeah, like, he was a player when it was going on, so why not just take that definition of player and put it towards the punishment, I guess.
He also, I guess a big reason why was he wasn't protected by the players' union anymore. So the players' union is the one who negotiated the only way that the MLB was talking to the Houston Astros was if the players weren't getting touched. And he wasn't a part of the association anymore, I guess, so he just got completely screwed. Which sucks. I mean, honestly, it sucks. It sucks for Beltran, obviously. It sucks for Mets fans because they had to endure 2 years of Luis Rojas. Just
The Yankees third base coach, baby.
yeah, maybe he'll be a third base coach legend. And well, think about that. I mean, they was like the end of spring training, basically, or was it like mid?
Yeah, they gave him like they either way they give him like no notice, like at all.
Yeah, he got completely screwed over. I guess the only people who really come out on top of this is
Rob Manfred.
yeah, I guess. But how really? I mean, he
I don't know.
kind of got dragged through the whole thing.
Yeah, well,
Deserved it. He did deserve it with the whole piece
Exactly.
of metal thing and all that stuff.
oh, don't get me started on that.
But moving on, spring training is over today. Today was our last spring training game, and the season starts in 2 days.
Let's go, bro.
Allegedly.
Minor League Baseball started today.
Which
Last
level?
I checked, the Rail Riders were up 2-0.
All of them.
Really? I thought it was the 10th. Oh, maybe that was their home opener. That might have been their home. I was looking mid lockout. I was looking at tickets for the Somerset Patriots.
Wow, here we
You
go.
don't need to buy tickets ahead of time for minor league baseball.
I was just looking to see, like, schedule and stuff like that. I don't even
We
buy
have,
major league tickets ahead of time.
Exactly.
Most of my tickets I buy after I parked my car. That's true.
Just a quick little thing for minor league baseball. I haven't checked the other ones, but the Rail Riders won 5-0. Peraza hit a solo shot. Florial also went deep.
There
So-
you go.
Florial had a 3-run bomb, so that's nice.
You love
Sweet.
this. You love to see that, or hear
Very
about
nice.
it. I guess.
Yeah.
There was
Oh, Peraza saw it on the first pitch, by the way. The first pitch of the game. Oh, wait.
love it. Glaber
that's
did
wrong.
that.
Never mind.
Glaber did that today.
On the 7th pitch of the game. Sorry about that. First inning though. His first at bat.
There was a couple of signings and trades, and the roster's starting to take shape now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the roster's starting at 28 this season, and then it's gonna move down to 26, and then in September, when normally the roster for some stupid reason would blow up to 40, it's gonna blow up to 28 again. Which I like that system so much better than the 25 out of the gate, and then you're at 40. It was just a ridiculous number. But Marvin Gonzalez makes the team out of spring training. He had a great spring.
He did.
And he could play any position. Truly.
It's kind of like an upgraded Tyler Wade.
Yeah, I kind of forgot
Except
that he was even on
maybe
the team.
slower.
Yeah, he's slower than Tyler Wade, but
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely slower than Tyler Wade.
yeah, but I mean, in order to run the bases, you got to get on base.
And he does, from what we've seen in the spring at least.
Tim LaCastro gets sent down in a move that truly broke my heart. Miguel Andujar gets sent down in a move that shocked nobody. I did see a hilarious tweet today that said, now there's going to be a bunch of Andujar and LaCastro and cash consideration trades for superstars proposed by
so
fans.
have we traded Clint Frazier in that deal to Tim LaCastro? It's no longer Andujar and Clint. It's Andujar and Timmy Lowe.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to give you Gary, we're going to give you Voit, and you're going to give us the top 2 pitcher in the league.
Sounds good to me. Wow, remember when we thought Cashman could pull that off?
I mean, Cashman did trade Chase and Shreve for Luke Voit. That's a thing that happened.
Oh wait, and didn't we give him Gallegos too though?
We did give him Gallegos, who's turned into something.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right though. Shreve was the pretty big part of that deal.
And before that, Gallegos was garbage for us. I hated when he came into games.
He needed that change of scenery, and he took it well.
Speaking of change of scenery, we gave Greg Bird a change of scenery when we cut him. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years.
That was 2 years ago.
He went to the Rangers, if you remember. Then, if I'm not wrong, he went to the Rays after that. Then which I always said that I thought he was going to be a Ray. I just thought when we cut him, he was going to go to the Rays. I just envisioned it. But then he didn't do anything there. Then he goes to the Blue Jays, and then he opts out. He had one of those deals where if he didn't make the team, he could opt out. He doesn't make the team. He opts out of going to the Blue Jays spring training, and then signs a minor league deal with the Yankees. So instead of being in the minor leagues for the Blue Jays, he said, if I'm going to be in the minor leagues, it's going to be for the Yankees. And the Yankees signed him to a minor league deal. So how long? Okay, I got two questions. How long before we see him in a game, and how many games
July.
does he play for us this year?
He'll be up in April, and he'll play 6 games for us.
Because you got to think about that. We no longer have Voit. So Bird is
He's third on the depth chart.
Yeah, which is, one injury, and he's got to be the backup. So if Rizzo, I don't know why I started crying. If Rizzo gets hurt, you got to think DJ would probably be playing first base every day.
Yeah.
And then, Bird would be backup. Or Guzman. What about Guzman? I just completely remembered we have Guzman.
Who's our third baseman?
He was
Oh,
the
yeah.
Guzman was the guy that hated the Yankees, right?
I'm not sure, but probably. Is that
I gotta
everyone?
find this quote.
Another trade, another Ranger. Jose Trevino is a Yankee. And the first thing I thought about is last year, you think, and I mean the past few years, you think the catcher's position in New York, and you're thinking of horrific defense. Is there a better catcher core in the league now than on the New York Yankees? On just defensively, because
It's hard to argue that.
You got Higgy, you got Trevino, you got Rortvedt. The three
Rortvedt?
elite defenders.
He's very good defensively.
Rortvedt is elite. I think Rortvedt's the best out of the three. Defensively.
Defensively, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but
although-
Higashio's going to hit 30 bombs this year, so.
He might, man.
He's a talking point because if he starts hitting bombs regularly, there's no way they platoon, right? It's just
he's
Higgy's
starter,
job,
that's
and
it.
Rortvedt backs up,
That's
which would be great.
Yeah, but
that's pretty
Rortvedt-
crazy.
Imagine
Yeah,
Higgy.
lefty.
Imagine Higgy turns into what Gary Sanchez was supposed to be. Could you
Oh my God, we
imagine?
get 2017 Gary with good defense.
Well, if you remember when Gary first came up, his defense wasn't that bad. Like he was
It was a little below average.
a little below average, but his arm was elite.
Oh man,
And
watching
then,
him throw down to second. Whew.
and then his defense got worse, and he just wouldn't throw out runners anymore.
Got in
So
his head.
yeah, it had to have. It's the only explanation.
I don't know how good Higashioka has to be to not get platooned, because the Yankees were very methodical in making sure they have more left-handed batters in the lineup. And so I really think that he's going to be the catcher when we're facing a righty.
Rortvedt is the
or-
lefty, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
And what's Trevino?
he's a righty too.
Okay, so yeah,
We-
that'll be a
We
game
have
Rortvedt
Hicks
probably. then.
and Marvin Gonzalez, who are switch hitters. Love switch.
Yeah, we got two now. Let's
I'll tell
go.
you what, they fixed some massive holes.
Yeah,
Quietly, very quietly. I saw a grade on the Yankees offseason that was a D+. And I mean, when you say that, the team, in order to get a D+, your team had to get worse.
yeah.
and-
No, they got better.
The team, I would argue, would be there wasn't a splash name there, but I can't remember the last time we fixed this many holes in one offseason. Our defense is borderline elite around the field. I
expect no errors at this point.
We needed lefty batters. What a year and a half ago, we had one maybe, and that was Hicks, and he got hurt in like the first month.
And Gardy
and
Gardner, who backed up in the beginning of the season.
But then ended up playing 140 games.
We were like the ones defending the Yankees. Were like, oh, you don't need to have good defense. You don't need to have a balanced lineup. You just need to be a bunch of mashers. But
we were wrong.
We were wrong, I think.
That's what the Phillies are now.
Yeah, we were wrong. This is going to be really refreshing to see good. Because it's not like they went completely to a bunch of bunting, defensive first players. They're just a well-balanced team. You still got Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Gallo in the middle of your lineup.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be fine there. I'm okay if Gallo never gets a single. I'm okay if he strikes out, walks, and homers. That's it. I really am okay with that.
I don't blame you. Because we don't need anything else out of him there.
Now there's guys who can hit for contact at the bottom of the order.
Also, I was thinking at first when we made that deal with for Falefa and Donaldson that having Torres was a bit of a problem because there's a jam. I thought we were going to trade Torres originally for Olsen, but now I'm just thinking back to 2019, and DJ LeMahieu thrives in. We could plug and play him. We don't have to play a player like a Wade every week or forth, because we have a guy who's resting players consistently. First, third, and second.
What I love about that is then you can have him pinch hit in the seventh, and then you can have him pinch hit A for anybody, because he can go in and play defensively in the field, and it's not even going to be a liability.
Mm-hmm.
Having DJ as your first guy off the bench is kind of awesome.
Calling him the first guy off the bench it's also a little bit misleading, because he's going to be in the starting lineup most days.
Yeah.
It's just depending on where.
Yeah. He just doesn't have a solidified position, which is fine.
Stick him in center.
As long as, I swear to God, I never want to see Torres play shortstop ever again.
He won't.
He shouldn't.
That's my only question, is who is going to play shortstop when Falefa is not?
Oh, I guess maybe it is.
Well, okay, then.
Maybe Gonzalez? Maybe it'd be Marwin.
Has Marvin played short?
I think so.
I think that's his favored position.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
If I'm not wrong, that's like his listed position, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah,
it's like he's shortstop, but then outfield.
He's shortstop. Okay, cool. So Marwin would play there, which.
Are you really gonna go Marwin in the lineup over Glaber?
No, I'm saying
only talking right now.
I'm just saying when Falefa needs a day off. I'm saying if you need to give Falefa a day off or Falefa gets injured, who would play short?
So we have two true utility guys.
I don't think how many games has DJ played at short?
I would rather have played to play short than.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting to me.
I think DJ's just too lanky and weird. Seeing him at short would be so weird, bro.
You know what I was?
4 games at shortstop. He's never made an out.
Okay.
All right.
He's never even had an opportunity. He's never fielded a ball.
Okay. So he just came in, I guess, injury, stuff like that.
He's also never played outfield. So you guys want DJ playing shortstop?
I
do not want DJ in the outfield. But I can't really see why he couldn't play short. He can make the throws from third.
We should have had DJ catch.
You know what's hilarious is Falefa can catch.
Oh yeah, I immediately thought that he was going to be our catcher when we traded for him. Even though he's played 36 games there in the MLB.
I remember a couple years back our emergency catcher was Bird. Our emergency catcher is a catcher is a major league catcher.
What wasn't Big Toe the emergency catcher at some point?
Yes, he was. I love Torres. He's with the Phillies now, so I still get to see him play. Sometimes he didn't make the opening day roster, but
He's in Lehigh Valley.
but he'll be up. He always gets called up. I love Torres. I really do. Looking now at around the league.
Wait, before we do that, staying Yankee-centric, can I ask a quick pop quiz?
Go ahead.
I don't think you're
Let's
going to
hear
get this.
I might
There are
just shock you.
There are 5 players on our team. One of them's on the injured list that originally signed with the Cubs.
Oh. Okay.
Who are the 5 players?
Glaber's
LeMahieu's
one.
one.
And you said DJ?
Yeah, I said DJ.
Okay.
Did Trevino originally sign there?
It's not Rizzo because Rizzo's Padres.
Yes.
No, he's Red Sox.
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember that?
I prefer not to
Nope.
speak.
Well, you don't remember it. No one does.
DJ?
Yeah, DJ Glaber.
I mean, we might as well just
It's
start
gonna be
playing
someone really obvious. Oh, one of them's injured. Who's injured?
One of them used to be a catcher, came up as a catcher.
Was it Falefa?
No.
Oh, that would have been.
I already
came
give up.
As a catcher. Was it Guzman?
Wait. Was Herman ever a Cub? Because he's on the...
The catcher
list.
is Josh Donaldson.
Oh wow! Oh, and I knew he got drafted by the Cubs, didn't he?
I think so. But I have a baseball card of him on the Athletics in catcher's gear.
I've
That's
seen that
sick.
baseball card.
And then, ready for this one? Marvin Gonzalez.
Okay.
Wait, so
And
that's
then the
4.
5th one, I didn't even know this guy existed. Steven Ridings.
Oh, Steven Ridings
Oh, that's the main man. He's
hit-
so done.
throws gas.
Yeah, when he's
used to be
not on the injured list.
used to be a Cub.
Used to be a
Mm.
chemistry teacher.
Oh, he's on the 60-day IL for shoulder impingement, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh well, that hurts. I saw his major league debut. That was also Luis Gil's major league debut.
Such a shame that we overworked him. Immediately. We had it for like a
well,
week.
well, the thing is, they have him listed as a starter. How the hell is that guy ever gonna start? Well,
It's like sticking Jordan Hicks in the
Ridings.
rotation.
Well, do you remember the Reds were trying to start Aroldis Chapman?
Yes.
Do you remember that? Remember that tomfoolery? Just a waste
Wait,
of everybody's time.
Is Guzman on the
Pretending.
roster?
Did he not make
I
opening
don't
day?
think so.
He probably
no, I think
didn't.
I think he's in the minors. Oh, speaking of Guzman, I have the quote pulled up. Here we go. Where'd it go? The hell, man.
Here it is. Where to go?
I
All right.
lost it.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, here we go.
okay.
I want to kill them every time I play them, to be honest. I never liked the Yankees growing up. But then the rest of that quote is cut off. But there's Guzman. That's when he hit the 3 home run. That's the interview after he hit the 3 home runs against the Yankees.
I mean,
Back in 2018.
I expect anyone who didn't grow up in New York or didn't grow up a Yankee fan to feel that exact way. I mean, how could you, if you're not a Yankee fan, how could you bear to stand them?
The same way people that aren't Patriots fans stand the Patriots.
Yeah, they don't.
No one does.
It's true.
It's the same deal. Or the Cowboys. If it's not the team that annoys people,
The Cowboys don't count.
if it's not that, well, because here's what I'm about to say. If it's not the team that annoys people, it's the damn. Why do you do that?
I'm looking at Josh Donaldson. He played in 2010. He didn't play for 2 years. I don't know what he was doing.
But what I was trying to say is, if it wasn't the team that annoyed people, it was the fans. I mean, I could understand how a fan base that big, you're gonna have a lot of annoying people in it. but moving to around the league, because there is a lot
Yeah.
of stuff happening. First off, Sean Manaea is a Padre. The Padres have made, anytime someone becomes available, they become a Padre. I just hope the Padres can make the playoffs this year. It would be horrifying to see. Snell is coming back from his injury, right? So it would be
Yeah,
horrifying.
and so is Clevenger.
Oh, I even forgot about Clevenger. I love watching Clevenger pitch. So what's the
Why did-
rotation?
They have
Why do
they have
people hate-
the fabled 9-man rotation, baby.
So they have Manaea, Clevenger, Snell,
Yu
Darvish,
Joe
pull up the
Musgrove.
roster.
Musgrove.
He's good,
That's
I like
dirty.
Martinez.
That's absolutely filthy.
but that's just the 5. There's more. Who else? Mackenzie Gore, Dinelson LeMay, Chris Paddock.
Well, LeMay they're using as a reliever, I believe. Paddock, I think
Paddock doesn't even want to be there.
Paddock's gonna end up getting traded. There was
He was gonna
actually
be a Met.
he was almost a Met. It was gonna be him and
That would've been
Hosmer
so funny.
for Smith, which would have been an absolute fleece.
That would have been trade of the century for the Padres.
It would have
Oh
been-
my
That
goodness.
would have been a fleece.
The Padres have 4 people on their opening day roster that were signed by the Padres to begin. They've brought everybody else in.
Hey man, it's their philosophy, I
nuts.
guess. Who needs homegrown talent?
Did they trade for Tatis? Am I wrong in saying that? Was he?
Yeah, he was on
He
the
was-
White Sox.
Yeah, he was
He
a
was
part
part
of
of
the
the White
James
Sox
Shields.
deal.
He was a part of the James
Yeah.
Shields deal.
Yeah, and all James Shields got was the all anyone knows him for is giving up the home run to Bartolo Colon.
I wrote a pretty cool article about that back
You-
when we worked for.
You
Yeah.
did. You did.
It
I-
ruined him.
I mean, I think it'd ruin anyone.
Tom's Rivers legend, Little League legend, took a picture with Derek Jeter, Todd Frazier.
Oh, where did he
Toddfather.
take that picture?
The
Where did he
Lit-
take that picture?
the Little League World Series? Oh, Yankee Stadium.
Nice. Yeah.
He took it at Yankee Stadium because he won the Little League World Series. It was one of
Crazy.
those deals.
Pop quiz.
Okay.
Ooh, yay.
Todd Frazier led the league in one category, one time in this entire career. What was it?
Hit by pitch.
Not how much.
OPS plus.
At bats. He had 619 at bats in 2015.
And a 212 average.
309, you jabroni.
No.
Oh, wait, no. 225. 255.
Todd Frazier in his prime was a bit of a player. Todd
He was
Frazier could
two-time
play.
All-Star. Two-time All-Star. Home
play
run
at
derby
there.
chip.
And I loved him with the Yankees.
He bashed a couple homers, too.
Remember that time when he just took that pitch that I can't remember if it was, I believe it was really inside, and he just
I
kind
know
of
the pitch you're talking
and
about.
just kind of flicked it.
I don't know how he hit that out.
I have no
I'll
idea.
never understand it.
And it wasn't like he flicked it to like right field, short porch. Like he flicked it. It was towards right field, but it was like right center, and he just one-handed. Just I've never seen a home run like it before or since. It truly doesn't make any sense.
Whenever I think of Todd Frazier, I think of the Tom's River Little League World Series quote. I think of that home run, and I think of the swing that he did against Justin Verlander, where he swings and he like flicks his hand like that after the ball's already caught, and it's like, dude, how do you manage to hit a home run that no one can ever replicate and have the worst swing of all
Well,
time
remember when
in one major league career?
he got that huge hit in the playoffs? I believe it was against Cleveland. I believe it was Cleveland.
Believe land.
And he tripped on his way to second. That was another one. But he was safe. He shouldn't have been.
Well, wasn't that Headley, or did they both do that?
Oh, was that Headley?
Headley
Dude,
is Headley and
Headley
Todd
did
Frazier
that
are the
against the
same
Astros.
person.
yeah, I was just about
They're
to say the same player.
Both played third base.
You know, one
Chase
huge
Headley doesn't exist.
one huge thing that I am incredibly thankful. If anything came good out of this lockout, it was that they have seemed to fix service time manipulation.
Yes.
The prospects that are making the opening day roster are incredibly exciting. And
it makes me so happy.
I believe there's more that I am missing. But for the ones that I know, Bobby Witt Jr.,
Bobby Witt Jr.
Spencer Torkelson,
Spencer Torkelson.
Yep.
which I have him in my franchise and will be the show, because I just can't hit with Rizzo for some reason in the show. Can't do it. Real shame. I had to trade him.
Hey, it's a business. It's a business.
These things happen, right?
Sorry, we need production on the field. So Spencer Torkelson, horrifically hilarious name, by the way. Torkelson does something for
Good
me.
name.
I love that name. And Bryson Stott for the Phils.
Oh, he
we
got
got-
the call up.
Yeah, we got some ball players getting called up.
Hey man, don't forget J-Rod.
Oh, Julio Rodriguez. Well, here's
Oh,
the thing.
he's so good, bro.
If you
Oh,
remember,
I gotta find his I have to
if
find
you-
his slash line.
you remember when that schmuck had that conference call shareholder meeting get leaked? The Mariners
Yes.
executive.
That was an absolute clown show.
Did he even get fired for that?
I think he resigned.
Okay, that makes sense. But he said Julio Rodriguez was coming up this year, and I mean, they had a plan, and they fired the guy, and then they were like, you know what, we're just gonna stick to the same stuff we were doing before. We're just gonna pretend that he was the only bad guy in the organization, and we're just gonna move on. And then the Mariners haven't made the playoffs since 2001. How long do we go before the Mariners reach like conversation levels with like the Rockies and the Marlins of just being an absolute garbage organization?
I
It
think
seems
that-
like they're not garbage. They're like lovable. They're like kind of like the Cubs.
Who's that? The Mariners?
Yeah.
I disagree.
No one's mad at the Mariners.
Well,
I just like their hat. I like their logo.
Well, I don't think anyone's
a
mad
hat.
at the players or anything like that. No one wants the Mariners to lose per se, but I think, at least for me, that video made the Mariners a pretty big enemy in my eyes, I guess you could say. I don't like them very much. Also, I hate when we play them. I have to stay up till 10 p.m.
And half the
hate it.
time we lose because it's the California trip.
We always lose the California trip.
I like the California trip.
And it's a wake up call in the middle of the season every time.
I'll tell you what. If the Angels don't make, it's just a thought that just came into my mind. If the Angels don't make the playoffs with an expanded playoffs, and
They're never making it.
the MLB ranked top 2 players in
Top
the
2
league,
players.
are you out of your mind?
Oh wait, we've never talked about how Austin and I's opinions of Ohtani have changed.
I know
since
they
we,
certainly have.
Yeah, I should
We've
get
never
some
brought
big
that up.
credit for that.
You should. Well, but here's the thing: is
You were right the whole time.
you were, but my whole thing was I just never thought he'd be able to stay healthy, and I was
I
like,
don't know. No.
and then he did.
Yeah,
No,
he
you were
did
batting
it.
at me because I thought he's the best player in baseball. I said that from a long time ago.
You
And
might have
now-
said that like the first month.
You
He
Yeah.
was like in the league.
I
So,
remember
I
how
mean-
close he was to being Yankee.
Well, guess what? Since I predicted that not predicted, I knew Ohtani was the best player in the in MLB, I get the award for best take of the podcast.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that was 3 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
That was about
No,
3
you're right.
years
It was
ago.
4. He came in the league in 2018, man.
Yeah, but like last year, you guys were chatting at me about it 2 years ago.
Yeah, because he'd gotten hurt.
All right. Well,
We
who
were
gets
like,
the
"Hi,
award
you
for?
see."
Who gets the Tim LaDuca award for worst take of the podcast?
Well, can we let it finish first?
The Mariners.
So the Angels have to make the playoffs is a consensus, correct?
Yeah,
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't either, to be honest with you.
I hope they
I'd love to see Trout and Ohtani do it, just not on the Angels.
I want to see them walk is what I want.
Well, Trout's not leaving because he signed his life away the same way Joey Votto did. So, we can only hope that Ohtani leaves.
But I mean, why would the Reds keep Votto hostage if he wanted to go?
Oh no, I mean like they signed their lives away
Yeah,
with those big ass contracts, and they're just like there, chilling.
yeah, but Trout's contract, I feel like, will always be movable. If
Only because
he-
it's Trout.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there will ever be a point. I mean, who knows?
Maybe
I'm
when he's like 39, maybe like that's it.
How old's he now?
30, I want
16.
to say.
That's crazy how young he is still. You know, considering he's been in the league over 10 years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Cool, Google. Don't give me his age.
30. He's gonna be
He's gonna be
31 in
31.
August.
one more
Oof.
thing for around the league. The Mets have some problems.
Season hasn't even started yet, man.
I know. Jacob Degrom, and this is something that's went on last year. I think people are kind of brushing away what happened last year with Degrom a little bit under the table. But he'll be out at least 2 months. And this is a guy, and it's not even a muscle thing. He has a stressor fracture. But this is a guy who last year, I was out one of the starts when he was pulled mid-start, and he was going off that game. He was having, if it had continued, it would have been the best game I had ever seen pitched, and I was at Scherzer's no-hitter.
Which one?
The one against the Mets.
Which one?
He only had one against the Mets.
I thought he had 2. Am I tripping?
No, he had one.
Maybe he had 2 in a season.
The Mets.
One against the Mets.
Yes, he had 2 in a
The
season.
Mets
and
got no hit twice.
yes, the Mets got no hits by
There we go.
Chris Henson, I believe, from the Giants.
Thank you.
But he gets taken out, and they give him an MRI, and they're like, "There's no structural damage." So you're like, "Okay, I mean, it's good that there's no structural damage, but then why is this guy in pain?"
Yeah, like something's not right.
You want good news. You don't want no news. You know what I mean? So
No
Yeah, I
news
get
is
that.
good news.
not when terms of like not knowing why you're hurt or how long it's going to take and so on and so forth. I just hope he can. I don't care that he's a Met, and I think every Yankee fan should hope that he comes back and is the pitcher he can be, because it's in a once in a generation type pitcher. If he can continue his prime, and it's nuts that he's the same age as Kershaw. It really is. But he could have like a Kershaw type legacy if he pitches the way he pitches for a few more years.
And actually leaves the Mets and wins a ring.
It's crazy that that's still going on. okay, one last thing, and then we actually got to cut a little bit of time. But one last thing. Jose Ramirez might be on the move.
Absolute wild deals for him.
I'm trying to think. Padres, I've looked into him.
Blue Jays too.
Now, if he goes to the Padres, does he play first?
Who plays third for them?
Machado.
Tatis, Cronenworth. The Crone
Ramirez.
zone could play the outfield, right?
Yeah. So, and they have Voit too.
So someone's got. So Cronenworth would be the odd man out. I guess.
There's a DH though.
Not out of
there's
the
a-
infield. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's a DH now. I completely forgot about that. So maybe, I mean, Ramirez is too good a defender, you would think, to make the DH. But I mean, he's not taking that job away from Machado. So maybe Voit would be DH. Ramirez would play first.
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
If I'm not wrong, Ramirez played games at second as well, didn't he? He could play second.
Yeah, but Cronenworth is insane.
Yeah. So
As insane as Ramirez? No, but still very good.
So they have choices if they were to make this deal. Maybe the Mets make the deal.
Oh my God!
I
please.
don't.
No. Oh my God.
I don't know if they have the pieces though. Their prospects, their prospect pool is not as good as other teams around the league.
Because they traded their biggest one for Edwin Diaz.
And
Who had a
Robinson
bounce
Cano.
back here, but still. Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who was that?
Say
Did they
again?
trade for Edwin Diaz?
Kalenic.
Jared Kelenic
Oh,
He's buns.
for now.
I forgot that it's not Kalenic.
Yeah, baby.
And he just sprung that on us, like, after we were calling him it for, like,
What is it?
2 years.
Kelenic. Because when it ends with the C, it's usually got that thingy on it, but then it's itch.
Kalinich?
Yeah.
So does he have
Nah.
the thingy on his jersey?
No.
Fraud. Then he's a
Yeah,
fraud.
I guess.
I think you should walk that back because that might be racist in some way.
No, I mean, my brother has the accent mark on the end of his name, and we use it every time because that's how you pronounce it correctly, is with the accent mark.
I was wrong.
Put the accent
It's Kel-
mark on your
it's-
jersey,
it's-
dude.
It's Kelnick.
It's Kelnick. We said the name wrong the whole time.
Baseball reference says Kelnick.
Yeah, I knew that it was never Kalanick.
I
Y'all
No,
are
I
just
said
Y'all are just bozos.
No, everyone was calling him Kelnick.
I was calling him Jared Kelnick.
Okay, well, good for you.
you know what, man? Tim, you're a smarty pants.
Whoever said
I'm proud of
Kalinich,
you, Tim.
that's the
No,
Tim LaDuca
Who's
worst
Austin?
take of the day.
No, originally it wasn't
Austin said it
Kellen.
first.
It wasn't Kellenich. I was calling him Kellenick.
Yo, why?
I totally didn't correct him.
And then you said Kellenich. And then I
Hey,
was...
man, we still got one more segment, man. You know, it's.
All right.
I'll hold the Tim LaDuca award for worst take of the day.
We'll
Forgetting
keep this,
how someone's name is pronounced.
We'll keep this short because it might have just been a misspeak. But Carlos Beltran, I said I could have packed him. I start with him and I'll end up with him. He is the new Yes analyst, which I think will be I think it's just a gateway into managing.
Well, I mean, he could have had that once.
No, but I mean, like, I think it's just a gateway for him to get back a manager's job back. I
Yeah.
don't think he would have gotten it if he just stayed silent. So he gets in the public eye. But he was talking about Judge and his leadership and so forth. And I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he said, but basically he said, I'm very happy the Yankees that him and the Yankees were able to agree on a new contract. And no one else had that news that he had signed a deal. Then he ends up walking it back and says that he hopes the Yankees and Judge are able to agree on the new contract. So maybe him and Judge have been talking, and Judge is like, it's pretty much a done deal. Maybe. That's what we're hoping for, at least. But I think everyone, including Carlos Beltran, hope that New York Judge, Aaron Judge, is a New York Yankee for multiple years by the start of the season.
I've got the quote if we want to say it real quick.
Lay it on.
I'm just glad to see him being able to create this new contract with the New York Yankees and being able to extend his stay here in New York. He's a guy that plays the game hard, and I bet the message has to be like from Judge. The Yankees are willing to commit like that for so long, and at the same time, they want to build around him. They understand he's a leader, so I'm glad to see Aaron Judge increasing his stay here with the Yankees.
And with that, I say thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And we hope to see you next episode. Go Yankees.
Go
Garrett
Bills.
Cole is a New York Yankee.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @BoogiePod and subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.